Hello everyone, I'm Christian Oaks White. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week. My partner Avery Davidson is on assignment this week. Well, sugarcane harvest is in full swing right now, and about half of the crop has been cut so far. Farmers are certainly hard at work, but so are the mills processing all that cane. You might think it's an industrial process, but as TWILA's Neil Melancon tells us, this farm-to-table industry is as natural as it is sweet.
All the trucks, carts, and dozers moving around here tells you all you need to know about what time of year it is. Sugarcane harvest is in full swing at the Louisiana Sugarcane Cooperative, or LaSuca, here in St. Martinville. Manager John Hebert says it's midway through the season, so they're at their busiest.
We're still expected to grind into January this year. We've got tonnage that'll carry us probably somewhere into the second week of January, but that's yet to be determined. We're about 42% harvested of this year's crop based on the current grower estimates.
Here's a quick rundown of the mill. The cane comes in here from trucks and carts and gets loaded into the grinders. The grinders separate out the pulp from the juice. It's the juice that gets distilled and crystallized into the raw sugar, which comes out here. It's then loaded into the sugar warehouse where it goes into a refinery, which we're going to show you next week. Now, despite all this machinery, Hebert says it's an all-natural product with no artificial ingredients.
It's simple. It's just big because we get so little out of so much. It takes a lot of infrastructure. But as far as the complexity of it, certainly there's an art to it. You know, not to downplay that side of it. It is complicated, but it's not a big refinery type facility. It's a mill. It crushes, it evaporates, it clarifies, and it cooks. It's a huge kitchen, is really what it is.
They don't just make raw sugar here, though. Blackstrap molasses also comes out as a byproduct of separating the cane from the juice. It's put into a centrifuge just like this one. Once the separation has taken place, it's then stored in giant tanks where it's sent to be used as cattle feed. One thing that's affecting the molasses production is the drop in tonnage this year.
There are other factors that play into that. It depends on how much water goes into the process and things of that nature. But for the most part, it's tied to the overall tonnage.
Mike Melancon delivers his sugarcane to LaSuca. He says it's vital to his industry to have not just storage, but processing close by.
We're not like a soybean or even a cotton or a corn farmer who actually gets a commodity out of the field. So any farmer in the state that farms sugarcane is dependent upon their mill.
LaSuca is here to stay for its growers like Melancon and is in the process of expanding by adding a whole second line to its capacity. Hebert says growers can show you why this capacity is so important.
And specific to LaSuca, we have a grower base that understands the factory component of this product that we produce very well. And I think any one of them would gladly walk anyone through the sugar mill and show them that it's very simple, it's very pure, and the sugar that we produce is very safe.
In talking with John Hebert, he still expects the mills to be grinding into the second week of January, but of course the weather will be a big factor until then. Now, while I was at LaSuca, I got a chance to spend a little time in St. Martinville. Just 2 miles down the Bayou Teche from the mill is a pretty important place. Evangeline Oak is the site that inspired Henry Longfellow to write the poem Evangeline, dramatizing the Acadian exodus out of Canada due to British persecution. The resettling of them across South Louisiana is what gave rise to our Cajun culture. Now, Longfellow was supposedly inspired by Edward Seymour, a St. Martinville native who went to Harvard University with Longfellow and told him the tale. The nationally famous literature is memorialized in this park on the Teche, which you can see has all the charm you'd expect from a bayou town. The downtown has some charming historic buildings as well. There's a museum and a veterans memorial to those from this area who have served. While you're there, you can check out a museum to both Cajun and African American history, plus enjoy the great Cajun places to eat like St. John's Restaurant right there on the bayou. Kristen, this was fun to just go to that historical market and see that. I've never been there, you know, and it's kind of the birthplace of Cajun culture, so to speak, you know, when you go there.
Well, as a North Louisiana Yankee, I guess this is new news to me because I didn't know this place existed. So
Yeah.
It sounds like you were mixing a little business with pleasure.
It is, but I'm trying to get a little more to show, you know, we go out to all these places.
Right.
I don't want to show these historical areas. In fact, I'm going out for next week's show. We're going to the Louisiana Sugar Refinery place in Gramercy, and it's on the National Historic Register of Places. It's a big coalition of all the old sugar mills and some of the houses, the antique houses there, and so the guy who runs the refinery also has grown up there and has been in those houses, so we may do kind of like a series on this kind of
Well,
stuff.
that sounds very neat, and I'll look forward to that. Thank you so much for bringing us an educational and truly interesting tie-in to both of these stories. Thanks, Neil Melancon.